what we've heard up until this point by the city council is that the city is on the brink of insolvency, and outsourcing and laying off more than half the city's workforce is the only alternative that they have. And what we learned today in an audit that was released today and discussed on a conference call was that there is money in the city's budget. The independent auditor identified about $26 million that the city can use in its general fund, and what that shows is that it's what we've been saying all along is true. This is not about the budget. If the city wanted to address its budget challenges and continue to provide the level of services that it's currently providing to the community, then they could, but they don't want to do that because this is about a political strategy.
That was the claim of the Orange County Employees Association, who asked the Attorney General to investigate claims against the Costa Mesa City Council. The same day, the council approved drastic budget cuts that have made headlines nationwide.
You know, I'm kind of looking at this more as I'm a shareholder right now in the Costa Mesa Corporation, and I'm here to kind of complain because I believe that my portfolio is losing value.
A standing room only crowd filled the council chambers, many urging the council to rethink their plans to make cuts to the police and other departments.
I really want to make sure everyone understands that if we cut the police department, we're cutting public safety, we're increasing our risk, the risk for each and every individual among us.
Reducing cops on the street is going to increase response times. It's going to reduce, obviously, proactive law enforcement. And it's just going to be hard to dig yourself out of that hole that you create.
This current economic downturn, as it developed, the Police Association came to the table in 2009 to open our contract when we were not required to do so. That was at the request of the city. We were not in a contract negotiation. We came forward and we offered to help. Since that negotiation and adoption of that contract, the relationship between all the bargaining groups in the city, not just the Police Association, the council has turned extremely toxic, and it really seems to be non-existent. I can assure you that the men and women of the Costa Mesa Police Department have always been willing to be a part of the solution and always will be. Yet somehow that relationship, when it changed, we have said time and time again that we'll meet with the city staff at any time. That open invitation has not been accepted.
This proposal is to cut the police force to what it was in the 1980s when the population of Costa Mesa was 30% lower, and I don't think it's a risk justified by our financial position.
I've heard some things tonight about a lot of problems that you guys want to solve, the motels, the homeless, other issues. Solving those problems is not going to happen by cutting cops.
Many in attendance of the meeting were quick to point out the council's failure to have a plan to implement their layoffs and other changes.
I've also heard things about using reserve officers or part-time officers to fill positions. First of all, getting reserve officers trained is a very, very hard thing to do. They're a very hard commodity to find. Additionally, within your own city rules under your administrative regulation 2.26, if you lay off people, you're required to first lay off all the part-time people in that position. So you would first be required to lay off all of your reserve officers before laying off full-time. Again, something I'm just putting out there that you guys need to step back, think about what you're doing. These are life and death decisions you guys are making at this point.
But despite public pleas, the council approved the budget and police cuts.
What this council wants to do is make sure that no matter what happens with this economy, this next year, we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine in this community. Is it a lot of issues? Is it a lot of turmoil? Everybody up here understands it. And to think that there's not compassion up here, it's not true.